morning, good morning, good morning. Friday, and we've already got a lot of movement during London, so look carefully. We are kind of in this uptrend channel. This is what I've been expecting price to do. So we're pretty much at the high of yesterday. I probably won't be making any decisions until we get closer to a gold zone. I mean, we made the rejection of the support of P, so usually we'd get the finish push up to R1. We're seeing some rejection right here. Got price that just made a rejection to perp. Lady candles are green. So the question is, are we going to make our normal movement back up to R1, finish the P to R1 move? We're pretty overbought. We got the uptrend structure that we're in from London. Got some selling off volume. But is the uptrend done? Are we coming back down to P? Right now we're at the high of Asia. Got some big volume coming down. Big volume pushing us back down to P. Supporting here. Big volume coming down. At P gold zone, at the uptrend line. A little bit of wicking here. $100 and $200 is down there. It's about a 1400 pip candle. Question is, are we going to break down? It's a big risk. I might just be patient. We're breaking P, probably coming down, what, 500. S1 is down there. Kind of tough because we got the 100 right here. Once again, I'm alright to be patient. I know one of you guys probably already entered. Big wick to the bottom there. Yep, that's what we're on right now. Still got some cellar mouth volume. $25 seconds left. Still got some wicks to the bottom here. What do we want to do? Also getting close to the low of the day. Got some support here. Yep, I've got a big uptrend channel line right there. We get much higher. Still got some rejection. Tough area. Well, not. It's not tough. The decision is not tough. The decision is easy. It's to do nothing. Uh, the being patient part is what we're waiting for right now. You already know though. You only live once. That's the motto, nigga. Yellow. I'm about it every day. Every day. You can see them in a way. Every day. Every day. I've been doing like a lot of research on these AR VR, like not there's not fuck. Let me drink some water. My words are not wording. They've got normal glasses now, but they don't do as much of like immersed feel as like Vision Pro and the Meta goggles. But it's also kind of cool because these glasses are like pretty normal glasses size that I was thinking about since I'm on the plane a lot. These things they're just like normal glasses, but it'll give you a 201 inch screen. There's some that have like 171 and some go up to 201 inch screen in front of your eyes with just normal glasses. But there's one, I don't know. I'm trying to decide if there's a $300 difference. I'm trying to see if the $300 difference makes sense. But the technology is so cool. I'm almost like I almost don't want to get anything because I know it's probably going to get so much better in the next year or two. But I guess in the next year or two I'll be able to use the shit out of these. So we got some more rejection here to the top. Maybe a possible continuation. God, they're so cool. Do we have any news today? Nice little upside down hammer, but we still not quite ready to break down. We've got the low of the day. It's the waiting game. The two things I'm looking at is, are we going to respect and stay underneath perp? Or are we going to break above perp? That's about it. And if I have to go off what I'm seeing so far, 630 tells us volume to the downside. 635 says I don't want to go down. 640 says I want to go down. And now we're showing we don't want to go down. So it's really just ranging here.
Almost entirely, and it enables a 57-degree field of view, which takes you from a perceived screen size of 140 inches on the Air 2 Pros up to a whopping 171 inches at a perceived 4. Get X-Real's custom X1 chip in here, which finally brings native 3 degrees of freedom tracking to the glasses themselves. This means that you get things like follow mode, where the screen will gently follow and stabilize with your head movements, to this redesigned optical engine, which, as you can see, are a lot slimmer than the standard ones, which not only make the glasses look more advanced, but they also come with some practical benefits. So they fold up more compactly than before, and maybe more importantly, when you actually wear them, because they're slimmer, they sit closer to your face, where they just don't protrude out as much, which I feel like
And with where we're at right now, I drew an uptrend line from 12 a.m. ish and about 3:50 a.m. So what I'm looking at as well for structure is, if we break back above, we'll be breaking back into the uptrend, and this push down is kind of like a little fake out, and it will get back into the uptrend, or we'll kind of like BRC this area, right? We could BRC and then head back down off of perp, gold zone, and this uptrend line. So we'll go someplace. Big support here. Massive support. Let me check news again. I didn't even check news. Oh, nothing today. All right, well, That gets us above. What do we have to look out for? Really, the only thing we have to look out for is the high of the day. And then maybe that'll be where we'll continue back into the uptrend. There's still a chance though. I mean, look at this area. This area where we'll be pushing up into. We've rejected this area a lot of times. Even yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've rejected this area 4 times. It's just something to be aware of. Because this big ass candle right here, this 630 candle, there's a lot of times where price pushes like this at the beginning, and a lot of people who haven't sold off, you know, they're going to get excited and be like, oh, price is going to go back up, I'm going to get into a buy, and then all of a sudden they'll drop price again. So it's not a tough area, just got to make a decision and stick with it. We do got some big ass volume for some reason. That changes things. It's a tiny breakthrough perp, so once again I still want to see price break through perp and stay above perp to believe in the buy strong to the top. Because the one thing I don't want to happen is to see an M form. This midpoint is right on the gold zone, which would be perfect for an M to come down. It's just all the things to be cautious of. So really depending on how price messes with perp will kind of give me a better idea of what to do.
That's always been an issue with AR glasses like these. Now, when it comes to the actual visual experience, this is where you're getting the biggest upgrade, and there's really 2 big benefits here. So the first one is reflections. These lenses pretty much eliminate the reflections that I called out in our last video with the standard ones, where on those you would sometimes see reflections from stuff directly underneath the glasses, like a bright shirt or a desk, but on here, they're basically gone. And then the second thing, and probably the thing that most people are looking at these for, is that wider 57-degree field of view, which takes you from a perceived screen size of 147 inches on the standard X-Real 1, which, by the way, is already massive, up to a crazy 171 inches on that. Because what I've been doing is I've been stepping down the 171-inch screen size to 154 in the settings, which is still bigger than the standard model, while giving you extra margin around all of the edges to absorb any head movements. And for me, this has translated into keeping the immersion fully intact. So yeah, I've really been enjoying these. I mean, there's that. But overall, I still feel like the clarity on the standard X-Real ones is a bit better. The edges on those are basically clear all the way through, whereas on here, you do notice some blurring around the edges. Actually pin it in 3D space, walk away from it, and the screen will stay exactly where you left it. It actually works pretty well. And what's cool is the camera also lets you capture photos and videos from this really nice first-person point of view, which it doesn't produce the best images, to be honest. Like, it's not something to write home about, but the fact that they even let you do it is nice, and you can actually customize.
X-Real 1 Pro. $49. It's $150 more. Next
Xin chào các bạn, đây là kính HO.
Shit, this guy speaks some Vietnamese, man. Where the English at? So wick to the top here. Once again, this area right here is what I'm worried about. So really, price can push hard off of perp, I'll believe it. If not, but wick to the top, right? If we're reading candles, wick to the top right now says might not want to go up. We got second candle Liddy green. That bitch starts charging down underneath perp.
Does not disappoint. It really feels like a private movie theater in your pocket. And yes, I've said that before, but this time it goes further. We're finally stepping into actual AR territory, and the upgrades, they actually matter. Xreal's clearly been listening, fixing the right things, adding smart features, and moving fast. If you've been here for a while, you remember Xreal was the first smart glasses I ever reviewed almost 4 years ago, and since then I've tested a lot more. So today I'll show you what's new, who's it for, and the one feature that completely surprised me. Join me beyond reality. So what's new? The Xreal One came out back in December for $499, and now we've got this Pro version. Same line, but with some serious upgrades for $649. The One Pro boosted the field of view up to 57 degrees, which Xreal says feels like watching a 171-inch screen. That's a bump from the previous Xreal One's 50 degrees, which was around 147-inch virtual size. Now keep in mind that 171-inch number isn't literal. What really matters is the 57 degrees field of view, because that's what defines how much of your vision the image feels. The virtual screen size is just a way to help visualize it, like saying this would feel as big as a 171-inch TV floating a few meters in front of you. But it's the FOV that matters. Now, they've also switched to smaller, flatter prism lenses, and honestly, I like where this form factor is going. It makes the glasses feel and look less bulky on the face. These lenses are paired with Sony's micro OLED panels, pushing brightness up to around 700 nits, and together this setup helps cut down reflections, sharpens the image edge to edge, and delivers clean colors and contrast. The Xreal One Pro has the X1 spatial computing chip built right in. That's a big step forward, because it now means you get native 3DoF tracking, 3 degrees of freedom tracking, and smoother performance without needing extra hardware like the Beam Pro or other adapters. This means that one of the most useful features, anchoring your screen in space, is now available right out of the box. You just plug it into a USB-C device, and the screen can lock in place in your environment by pressing one button. Most display glasses still need something external for that, but not here. And what makes this even more interesting is that it can go beyond 3 degrees of freedom. The glasses support full 6DoF if you add the optional Xreal Eye for $99. It's a tiny camera module that snaps into the glasses and gives you positional tracking, so the screen stays locked even if you walk around. And that same camera can even take photos and videos as well. I'll talk more about this later, but
So what I see that's possibly forming here is a wedge. It's a smaller wedge, so I'm really going to be patient here.
this is exciting, guys, as it's starting to feel
Possibly a wedge, or it's possibly price breaking down. But what I don't want to do, right, is you don't want to continue to like buy up, sell off, buy up, sell off. I won't lie, I did get into 645, and then I moved stop loss when we went above the level, and I got tapped out like 40 bucks. But that's what I was saying, right? I don't want to buy up and add contracts unless we get a nice push of perp over there. And now we're doing exactly what I'm thinking we're gonna do. And once again, I'm not no pip god, I'm just reading the candle, right? Big wick to the top, small body, rejection to the top, possibly might come down, take my $40 profit. Price is coming right back down now. You know, really it might still break under, like right now I'd probably have to move my uptrend line right there, and now that would make the wedge that we're currently in. So patience.
Modular in the best way, like the glasses can grow with what you want to do. Hit that like button if you are nodding so far. Now the IPD fit has changed too. You now get two fixed ranges, 57 to 66 millimeters and 66 to 75 millimeters, with some fine-tuning available through software. This helps get a sharper, more stable image by better aligning the lenses with your eyes. That said, the fixed range also means these aren't as easily shareable. If you and a partner or a friend fall on opposite ends of the IPD spectrum, one of you might not get the best experience. Now, I couldn't test that myself, but it's worth keeping in mind. But that's what's new under the hood. Before we jump into how it all feels to use, here's a quick look at what you get when you open the box. Here are the Actual One Pro glasses, the USB-C to USB-C cable, a hard shell protective case. I like how it's slightly...
Alright, and pay attention to what I was telling you guys about the 630 candle. 630 candle, remember, I'm always thinking like a criminal. I'm always thinking like the broker trying to steal our money. Remember, when you see things like that, like 630 is a big... They'll call this, what the fuck do they call it? They'll call it an order block. So this is just a block of orders, right? So over here, if I draw the block like that, what a lot of times is happening, like if you want to think about the fundamental side of things, is at 630, they push price down. A lot of people jumped into the sell, bringing it down over here, and then they push price. Because what the brokers are doing is they're pushing price down. It's a two-way fuckery, right? It's almost a three-way fuckery, you'll see now. So the first fuckery is making everybody think that price is going to go down, right? Big old 630 push coming down. People get into sells. Then all of a sudden, they push price right back up. And you can see that price is still within this order block area, right? This one big old candle at 630. So they push price up. What does that do? It scares people who are selling off. And what do? They either get tapped out, they exit their entry in the loss, small loss, big loss, whatever, and then there's people entering into a buy, right? Because they're seeing price go up. So what do they do? They shoot price right back down. So it gets people who are in the buy scared. But what it also does is, as price is going to go back up, there's people who didn't take sells at 630 who want to take sells. So they push price back up to trigger orders, trigger sell orders, and then what do? They drop price again, right? So people who are back into sales, or people who missed the sales at 630, they're kind of happy right now. You know, will they? If you have more money, or you're trading on a low lot size, you can get into all of this and probably still come out positive. But I don't really like to do that, right? I like to wait for the breakout. So it's really like, it's a whole bunch of fuckery. Because what happens here if they bounce price right back up? You know, they're going to be, all the sellers are going to be fucked up again. And all the people who were happy to get into the sell the second time are going to be unhappy. So it happens. It happens a lot. And that's why I brought it up the first time that it had it. The moment I saw this candle come up at 645, that's the only thing I was thinking was, there's got to be. They're going to fuck around with people today on Friday. So. And you got to remember, low volume, right? It's Fridays. Think about the last 2 weeks. We had all the news, a lot of volume. A lot of people who made money don't want to trade today. So they're starting their 3-day weekend. So less volume in the market. Yesterday, too, once again, I was talking about option contracts. So A lot of the bigger option players, like the big institutions that trade options, their contracts usually mature on the third Thursday of every month. So that was yesterday. So if a lot of people ended up losing money or making money, they are not wanting to trade today. So it'd be like that. But I'm going to wait to see if this breaks out. I'll give it a decent amount of time to figure out what it wants to do. And that's about it. It's only been, what, 30 minutes?
Smaller now and flatter at the bottom, so it sits more stable on surfaces. You also get 3 sizes of nose pads, small, medium, large. You get a cleaning cloth and of course the user manual, which, let's be honest, we all definitely read, right? So the glasses connect over a single USB-C cable, so they're plug and play with most phones, tablets, laptops that support USB-C DisplayPort alt mode. And with a simple HDMI adapter, it supports more devices. Support has really gotten better over the years, which is great. Okay, let's talk about.
And if you've taken entries and you were smart about it and you've only got into one lot size, you're fine, right? There's nothing wrong if you took a small loss or you were like me and you took a small little profit. Like, that's a part of the game, right? The only entry that's bad is the one that's forced or the one that has no analysis behind it. So don't trip, right? I only took about 40 bucks here as price pushed up at 650, so still money in my pocket.
If something is gonna live on your face for hours, it better feel good. The One Pro comes in at around 87 grams. That's a bit heavier than its predecessors, but it still feels really wearable. The weight is balanced too, thanks to the flatter lenses. They shift the center of gravity slightly so the glasses sit more evenly on your face. It's less front heavy, which means less sliding down your nose when you're looking around or moving around. Comfort wise, I've had no major issues. You get 3 different nose pads in the box, as I mentioned before, and the arms, they also have 3 fixed hinge positions, so you can click them into place depending on how you want them to sit. Now, I wore them for a full day just to see how they would hold up comfort-wise, and they surprised me. They felt just as casual as regular sunglasses. Like, I do feel them on me at some point, but it's easy to forget you're even wearing tech. Now, you also get electrochromic dimming. One button lets you switch between 3 tints: clear, shade, and theater. It's super useful for seeing the screen in bright sunlight, or maybe you want to focus. Then the darkest mode is really cool as it blocks out your surroundings almost completely. If I had to nitpick now, 2 things. Adjusting the hinge makes a bit of a loud clicking noise, and the cable is a little short. It's not a huge deal, but you'll definitely notice it if your USB-C port is in a weird spot. But what really sets the One Pro apart is how it handles spatial computing. The built-in tracking and smart display modes make a big difference. Like I mentioned earlier, the built-in X1 chip adds a lot of flexibility. For one, it lets the glasses run some features independently, like when you power them on for the first time, you actually get a built-in tutorial that walks you through how the buttons work.
Another support here off P.
Needed, which is really nice. But one of the best things is the stabilization. This makes it possible for the screen to stay steady as you move your head, so without jitter or shake. Not all display glasses do this, but honestly they all should, because it's like the difference between shaky handheld footage from the old days and the really smooth gimbal video. Xreal was actually one of the first to add this, and they've clearly refined it. I can even walk around and the stabilization is still good. Definitely a must-have feature on these glasses, and Xreal does a great job at this. The X1 chip also gives us native 3DOF with no adapters needed, which was
My
not
butt's
bad
getting
before, so
freaking
this unlocks
stiff.
the 4 main
I've been on my
display
computer
modes you
and
can
playing
switch
games
between
all day.
right from the glasses, right out of the box. The first mode is follow, which makes the screen follow your gaze, which is ideal for movies or casual browsing. Anchor locks the screen in space, which is great for typing, for example. This is the mode I use the most. Side view pins a small screen off to the side so you can multitask while watching something. And there's my new favorite, ultra wide, which is this massive curved
big old
virtual
support
screen
again.
around 310 inches, and it kind of feels like what the Apple Vision Pro does with its Mac virtual display, except here it's lower res at 3840 times 1080 by default. Still, it looks sharp, and it's awesome to have this kind of setup without needing a big headset. The lid, which was not that before, so this unlocks spot. But what really sets the One Pro apart is how it handles spatial computing. The built-in tracking and smart display modes make a big difference. Like I mentioned earlier, the built-in X1 chip adds a lot of flexibility. For one, it lets the glasses run some features independently, like when you power them on for the
Wick
first
to the top
time,
again.
you actually get a built-in tutorial that walks you through
$649. I guess I've spent more money on dumber shit. $650 on some AR glasses. Let's fucking go! I want to get the Apple Vision Pros, but they're bulky as fuck. And even the Meta, I don't know. I borrowed a friend's like a couple years ago, and I took it on an airplane, and everybody was staring at me. I was like, wow, this is fucking Apple Vision Pros, man. I will say though, if you guys have never tried Apple Vision Pros, that shit is ahead of its time. It is way ahead of its time. There's very little technology out there that makes me feel like, holy shit, you know, this is the future. But like, let me put it this way: like, I go to my homie's house, Jay. He has them that I borrowed. You put the goggles on, the Apple Vision Pro, and like, he told me to go walk around his house and to go look at the walls. Like, you can take apps and, you know, software, and you can hang them in the house. Like, you can put it on the wall. So like, right outside the bathroom, he had Apple Music, because when he goes in there to take a shit, it was like he turns on the music. Try and let's see, where's the key?
What's the key? He opened the door already.
I know. I'm streaming right now. That one's open. Give me 1 second, guys. From Japan.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Happy.
Happy and vui.
Good today. You happy?
Happy
Every.
every night.
Okay.
Con đi làm. Con
Okay.
bạn với nó họ làm nhiều món không?
All right, I'm back. So I thought Price was gonna break right there, son of a bitch. But so I put the Apple Vision Pros on, and I go walk around his house, and he's got like 3 bathrooms on the bottom floor. But yeah, outside of each bathroom, he has the Apple Music. It's the app, and it's hanging on the wall, and you can just tap the wall, or like you can like put your hands and like act like you're tapping the app before you go in the bathroom, and then you got the music that's in front of you, and then you got like you can put out like 6 screens in front of you. I was like, this is fucking insane. It's ahead of its time. I think that's why nobody's buying it. It's also expensive as fuck, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It is worth it. It is immersive. It's AR, so you can like see the world in front of you. It's not like normal VR, where you're like in a virtual world. It's actual like augmented reality. I didn't know there was a difference until he schooled me on it. I was like, okay. But yeah, that thing's. But I don't think that's necessary though, because all I really want to do with it is trade, and then play Xbox. So, and I don't want to have that bulky ass, and I do want to use it when I'm on the airplane too. So these and then the metas are like $500 or $600, and they're all right, but I don't know. I just don't think I want to have that big ass fucking bubble eye goggles on my head everywhere. So, but these glasses that I'm looking at, you just need like one little USB-C cable that plugs into the glasses and then into the phone or whatever you're using, into the Mac or into your iPad or a Nintendo Switch or anything like that. Like I could plug it directly into my Xbox, and then I can play directly just on the glasses. I can play Xbox, and it's like a 201 fucking inch screen in front of me. I wonder how it actually is though. I wonder if it's actually decent for gaming. This one that I'm looking at is $649, which is reasonable. But the nice thing is you can watch 3D too, because each eye has its own OLED screen. You can watch 3D. Fuck. We're living in the future, man. Come on, everybody. You guys gotta make some fucking trading money so we can all have futuristic AR glasses. We can be the trading team that uses AR glasses to trade. Oh man, I want them already. But I'll have to wait because I gotta buy them on Amazon, and I have to wait till I get back. That's like another, what, 10 days almost. 9 days. They look cool though. Oh, they look cool. But I trip out though. If you ever, yeah, the Apple Vision Pros, you can be stuck in that thing for hours. I remember when I went and I was using it for like 8 hours. I didn't even realize I was there for that long. But you could do so much. I found myself playing the Wii. You can play Wii on there, and I was playing tennis. There was a game. Jay likes to play some fucking ridiculous games, but there is a VR game that you can play with the Vision Pros, and it's a power washing game. Like you have a power washing company, and for like an hour, I was in a virtual world power washing garages. I was like, I could be fucking doing this in real life, but I'm power washing in the AR world. I even washed a car. I washed a car. I cleaned the sidewalks. Oh man, You can get lost. I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. They're getting people lost in the virtual world. And honestly, yeah, I don't think anybody does it better than Apple Vision Pros right now. It's sad that they're, well, I guess not a lot of people got really into it, so. Oh well. But it is cool. But these glasses, this is more than enough. We got some volume here, 45 seconds left. Still fighting that little downtrend, but we're pushing off of perp. Low volume. Low volume, but if this is where we are possibly pushing up, let's see here. It might be worthy of one lot. So imagine everybody that sold off at the beginning, then bought up, then sold off, then possibly bought up. Like, they're all fucked right now. 10 seconds left. Got a little bit more support volume here. It's not the cleanest break, but it's something. Slow moving. So it's tough because when we have no volume and it's like ranging on perp, you know, as you can see, the candle's pretty small there. So that type of risk is not that big of a risk. I mean, yeah, if you're looking at it, it's probably like 300 or 400 candles. Candles. Pips. 300 pips roughly, so. Still a lot. Let's see if we can get some support here. The fuck's that noise?
Through how the buttons work, there's no app or setup needed, which is really nice. But one of the best things is the stabilization.
Volume
this
here.
makes it possible for the screen to stay steady as you move your head, so without jitter or
Well,
shake.
not volume,
Not
more
all
of
the
just tiniest movement. Supporting the bottom. Little hammer. Gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. What time is it? 9:22. You know what I want? I want this to turn into a doji, and then I want it to figure out where it wants to go. Come on.
Glasses do this, but honestly they all should, because it's like the difference between shaky handheld footage from the old days and the really smooth gimbal video. Xreal was actually one of the first to add this, and they've clearly refined it. I can even walk around and the stabilization is still good. Definitely a must-have feature on these glasses, and Xreal does a great job at this. The X1 chip also gives us native 3DAF with no adapters needed, which was not that before. So this unlocks 4 main display modes you can switch between right from the glasses. Right
4 displays.
The first mode is follow, which makes the screen follow your gaze, which is ideal for movies or casual browsing. Anchor locks the screen in space, which is great for typing, for example. This is the mode that I use the most. Side view pins a small screen off to the side so you can multitask while watching something. And there's my new favorite, ultra wide,
Ultra
which is this
wide.
massive curved
Oh, that's
vertical
cool.
screen around 310 inches, and it kind of feels like what the Apple Vision Pro does with its Mac Virtual Display, except here it's lower res at 3840 times 1080 by default. Still, it looks sharp and it's awesome
Oh,
to have
I'm gonna buy
this
it.
kind of setup
I'm gonna
without
buy it.
needing a big headset.
Shit.
The limitation is the field of view though, which isn't wide enough to see the whole screen at once, so you will have to move your head left and right to see everything. But I do think this is a killer feature to have on these glasses. Props to Xprio for adding this. The only catch, it doesn't work on every device. Like, I got it working on my MacBook Pro, but it doesn't work on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. Something to keep in mind. You also get some extra physical controls on the frame now. There's a red button on the bottom and another one on top. The top one is customizable and the red button gives you quick access to display modes. Another perk of having the chip built into the glasses is the settings menu. You can now double tap the red button and it pops right up, and from there you can tweak screen size, distance, brightness, color, contrast, even turn on 3D mode. And it's super handy because you don't need an app or an extra device
Come on,
to
Doji.
adjust anything. It's all right there, and honestly, it's a great reminder of everything these glasses can do, because trust me, you can forget about it sometimes, or don't even know. Then there's the Xreal Eye add-on.
That's not a Doji. Come on.
5-gram camera that snaps into the slot in the middle. It is so cute. Once it's in, you can turn on spatial anchor in the settings to unlock a new 6 degrees of freedom display mode that feels more grounded and real. With 6 stuff, the screen doesn't just move with your head, it stays locked in space, even if you move closer or farther away. And that's the big benefit here. Your screen feels like it's actually there in your room. You can walk around it,
So we're
or
still kind of
move it,
respecting
and it stays put like a real monitor. And that makes it
this
way more
this
natural
wedge.
than having the screen stuck to your head. However, as it is just the one camera doing all the tracking, it can drift a bit more often than something like with a VR headset, which usually has multiple sensors. But if it
Possible
does lose
support
position,
here.
a quick button press recenters the screen right in front of you. So yes, this isn't full mixed reality, but it's definitely a step towards spatial AR, and it feels really cool in this form factor. Now, the Eye also doubles as a camera, so you can take 12 megapixels photos or shoot 1080p video at 60 FPS. And the quality is fine for quick snaps or notes, though personally I don't see myself using it much. I do like how exporting is easy though, and you get like 2 gigs of built-in storage. Just note it doesn't record mixed reality video, you would need the Beam Pro for that. The Beam Pro is a separate add-on. It's a phone-like Android device with a 3D camera system with access to Google Play Store apps and 2 ports so you can charge it while using the glasses. It basically turns your glasses into a portable workstation, an Android spatial computer. Now, I really like how modular this setup's becoming, because it's great for those who want more, but not everyone needs all of the extras. So I've been talking so much already, but I haven't even talked about the visual performance yet. But I can tell you the display looks really good. You're getting sharp 1080p visuals at 120 Hz with brightness around 700 nits, and paired with Sony's micro OLED tech, you're getting deep contrast, rich colors that really pop. The whole image looks solid from edge to edge. There's no warping or haze near the edges. I mean, there is a bit of chromatic aberration if you look all the way to the sides.
Still
while
respecting
text, but honestly,
perp.
it's subtle and not distracting. The flat prism lenses keep the image sharp.
I've
across the
readjusted
screen
my
and
little
reduce
uptrend
frictions.
line.
Older birdbath style optics often reflected your surroundings back at you, which was pretty distracting stuff, but that's a lot less now. I did still notice some screen reflection at the bottom, especially during movies with subtitles, but with the right fit, it is much less noticeable. So yeah, not a deal breaker. Also, the 57 degrees field of view on the One Pro feels noticeably wider. It's definitely a solid upgrade. Overall, the visuals just look polished, smooth, and honestly very pro level. Then the Bose tuned speakers are surprisingly loud, and
Oh,
I
with
always try to
Bose?
test them on the plane.
Bose? On the glasses? I did not read that. Where? Bose. Where's the Bose? Oh, sound by Bose. Alright. Say
They can
less.
handle airplane noise, they can handle everything. And yet, these are loud enough even there, which isn't always the case with other open-ear display glasses. Of course, you can still use your own headphones if you're after more bass or want some privacy, but it's sometimes just really nice to not wear anything else, especially when you're traveling a long time. Now, the built-in microphones also work for stereo voice during calls or video chats, and they sound surprisingly good. The only thing to watch out for is echo, since the speakers are near the mics. If you crank up the volume too much, the other person might hear their own voice come back. But it's decent. So what is it actually like to use these in real life? Well, they're kind of the perfect travel buddy. You can turn any seat in your own movie theater or even a little productivity setup. I used them on a long flight, and it honestly made the
Projection
flight
there.
way shorter. Day to day, they just fit
Stuck in this
they fit
wedge.
neatly into the case, and connecting to different devices, phone, laptop, tablet, is quick and easy. For remote work, it's just great to have a change of scene, just sit in the garden or move around without having to drag a gigantic TV around with you. It's kind of wild how far this has come compared to just a few years ago. Outdoor use is still limited though. The lenses are semi-transparent, and while the prism design makes it easier to see through, you're not gonna walk around with these while using them. They're still built mainly for screen mirroring, so you're watching content, not interacting with digital objects in your space or getting contextual info layered onto your surroundings like what Google's XR glasses are aiming for. That said, if you want to work outside, the display is bright enough even with bright sunlight on the lightest living setting. But of course, you can dim the lenses with a darker tint and see the screen more clearly. But price is a factor. It's $649 US, about $150 more than the original one, which is a steep ask if you're on budget. Plus, to unlock all features, you'll likely add on extras like the Beam Pro, the eye camera, the prescription lenses, and perhaps console adapters. Depending on what you want to use it for, costs can start piling up fast. So who's this for? I think it's for those who want a big private screen that travels with you, whether it's for gaming, flights, or working remotely. This could fit naturally into your routine. You're getting sharp visuals, strong audio, and enough comfort
got
for all
some
use. It's plug and play with no
volume
apps
to
or
the
extra
downside.
but what really seals it for me is the built-in stabilization and tracking, whether it's 3DOF or 6.
Where we going,
Plus the X1 chip,
my
spatial modes, and all the classic
chérie, mon
and they all come
chéri?
together in a way that's powerful but still easy to use. I think X-Ray really nailed that balance, and after using this, other glasses just feel more limited. The price and add-ons do make this more of an enthusiast pick, but if you're excited about spatial displays like me, this is my go-to for 2025 now until something better comes along. So what about you? If you had these...
That is your go-to for 2025? Okay. All these glasses have Asian people reviewing them. I wonder if they're not readily available in America. Oye, loca, ven pa' acá. Dale, Mr. Worldwide. $107. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I could just bring my I could just bring my iPad and my wireless keyboard, and then I have a whole fucking computer system right. Oh, wow. La 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 la. Da 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 da. Shabba-da-da-da-da. All right, 32 by 9 ultra wide screen, baby.
Hey everybody, it's Dylan from Tested, and today I'm going to be reviewing two pairs of glasses from X-Rail, the X-Rail 1s and the just shipping X-Rail 1 Pros. These are glasses I first previewed about 6 months ago when I sat down with X-Rail's CEO, Chi, to talk about their technologies, the chip they developed to put some additional tracking features in these glasses, and what could be interesting about these going forward, as X-Rail has just announced a partnership with Google to develop glasses for their Android XR platform. If you've been following this category, it's a little bit confusing. There are a lot of products out there that advertise themselves as augmented reality glasses, but for me, they're just display glasses. Think of it as something like an investment in, as opposed to buying a large widescreen monitor for your laptop, your computer, or your gaming device. You're buying something that's the equivalent of that experience that you can put in your pocket, in your backpack, and take along with you. A couple years ago, they introduced the what was then called the N-Real glasses, and up and through the X-Real ones, they've been using this similar, fundamentally understood optics system, bird bath optics. So in these glasses, there are two OLED displays, micro OLED displays made by Sony. They're 1080p resolution, HD, full HD, rectangular in each eye. Now, I'm holding glasses.
Supporting back up here.
Are mounted perpendicular.
We're getting to the point where the wedge needs to break. So hurry up and break.
Plane of view, so they're flat like that. They point downward. Goes through.
Price is still above the 500.
So it combines the image from the outside world with the image from the display, and then so you see a image hovering in space in front of you. Kind of like wearing sunglasses, because with that polarization, with the beam splitter, everything is dimmed down just a little bit.
Deep dimmed down.
When the generations of these glasses came out, they did have a lot of tracking functionality. There were static rectangles floating in space. You move your head around, the image would also move around. X-Real has, for instance, come out with accessories like the Beam and the Beam Pro that built in some tracking. So information is sent using the gyroscopic data inside the glasses to those devices. They do a little bit of processing, a little bit of delay, but then the image is locked into three-dimensional space, at least rotationally. With the X-Real 1s and the 1 Pros, that processing is now built in to the glasses themselves using their own self-developed X1 processing chip. This is the thing I've been waiting the longest time for. And so they shipped at the beginning of the year the X-Real 1s. Very similar optic system, display systems as their previous Air glasses. So 1080p displays on both, bright Sony small micro OLED displays, and about a 50-degree field of view. You know, of course, different products in their lineup that have various different optics configurations, but here, 50-degree field of view. So it doesn't fill your entire space, but kind of is that floating rectangle. All the software is now controlled using these buttons here. So you can access an on-screen menu lets you adjust that virtual display to push it out away from you, so the convergence is less taxing on your eyes. You can make it feel like it's a 200-inch display or a smaller 130, 140-inch display, as well as adjust that virtual distance. I found the sweet spot for me was about 147 inches, about 4 meters away. So it still feels like it's pretty big, filling up the 50-degree field of view of these glasses, but giving me a little bit of buffer so I can move my head and naturally look around without it clipping the edges. Image clarity I thought in the glasses were really good. You do notice a little bit of fringing on the extreme sides of the panels, but it was clear enough at that 1080p resolution that I end up using this a lot these past 6 months as a display for my laptop or even my Mac Mini. Now, there's no battery or power in these glasses. They run off of a video feed from your device. So whether it's a Steam Deck or Android phone, an iPhone, or a laptop with USB DisplayPort out, you just plug in the cable here and it goes right into the system, and you can either on your laptop, for example, extend or mirror the image. The best way I found using this actually as an extension of the laptop screen, because there's also a nice electrochromic dimming feature on these. You can actually press a button or a shortcut key and have it toggle between 3 different levels of brightness or dimness in the outside world. It actually black out most of the outside world, so you're just seeing this bright OLED image in front of you. Now, with the gyro data here, and with a new piece of software, they've actually given you the feature to recognize when you've locked that image, when you're looking at your anchored image in space, so that if you move your head away from that image, it actually turns off that electrochromic dimming, which makes it actually useful for this to be used as a secondary display. So one configuration I have is I have my laptop open up, I have my Discord, Slack, and some other windows on my small laptop screen, and then when I'm looking up above the laptop screen, I have this large virtual display locked in place in anchor mode. If I look down my laptop, the image then dims away, and I'm able to see more of the outside world, more of a laptop screen, and I'm able to actually effectively use both screens at once. Really, really nice feature. Also really love using this for consoles, for gaming, handheld gaming. Plugging into a Steam Deck has been a tried and true way of using this, and in that case, that 1080p resolution on both those panels is good enough, great enough resolution for gaming. On the productivity side, stretches the limits of screen real estate and text rendering. The text is readable, but I kind of want more information. So there is an ultra-wide mode where you can again toggle with that shortcut key that then tells the computer system you're plugged into that you have a 32:9 aspect ratio ultra-wide system. And so you're using that virtual desktop, you have to actually look around because the 50-degree field of view isn't large enough to cover that full ultra-wide. But what I also like is that using some software on your macOS, you can actually tell the glasses that you're running a higher resolution display than the glasses can take it. So I'm telling it, for example, a virtual monitor of 2560 by 1440, or you can go 4K, and then that actually scales down, so you're not getting a true 4K or a true 2.5K image in here, but you're getting more virtual screen real estate. Or you can let the screen fill out beyond your field of view, and you can look around, again, see more of your virtual desktop, see more of the web browsing, see more of these windows, and get more than just your locked-in 16:9, 1920 by 1080 monitor. The other place I really like taking these classes is on flights. I've been a big proponent of watching movies in headset, so most of last year on multiple international flights, I brought the Apple Vision Pro. I love that spatial computing, love the ability to bring up movies and have it locked in space and the pass-through, but it's cumbersome. Adam and I have talked about this. It's a lot to bring on, and we've been struggling.
Have I been talking to myself this whole fucking time? How long have I been on? Oh my god, have I been on mute this entire time? I had a whole like half an hour conversation. Oh my god! I'm like, these motherfuckers are boring today. What the fuck? I was like, what's wrong with their Friday? Oh my god! I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, like, I know it's a wedge, but are they that, like, out of it today? Like, they're just not having it. They're just not enjoying themselves. Is it me? Are we breaking up? Like, what the fuck? Oh my god. And I had the video. The video that I was watching was covering the little mic button for me to see on Discord. And then I just moved it, like, 2 centimeters, and I was like, why is the mic still red? Oh god. Well, yeah, that's a long time. I was wondering why. That's why I got to the point where I started to get insulted a little bit, and I had to figure like, what the fuck. Oh man, I was even talking about the wedge. I was talking about how I moved the trend lines, and now we can really see the wedge. Now I was really considering the sell off at 725, but I didn't want to sell off until we broke underneath gold zone. Then this next candle, I was like, I was thinking like, oh, maybe we should get into it if it goes like flat top, and then still crickets. It was just fucking crickets the whole time. I was like, these bitches don't even want my fucking help today. I'm just talking and there's crickets out here. Shit. Alright, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm still waiting. My wedge is still drawn. We're still stuck in it. I thought those last two little candles over there was going to be like, you know, supporting and pushing us out of somewhere, but we're still stuck in it. I do believe that we're going to break at some point. Like, I don't know how much fucking tighter we can get here. I'm going to go for a quick walk around my little living room in the front here. I need to keep my Achilles tendon not from stiffening up. Since nobody was even talking to me anyways, I'm just going to go take a walk. Alright, I'm walking better. Fuck yes. I got 8 more days, right? No, I got 9 more days. I already requested for wheelchair support at the airport. I was like, if I'm not walking good by then, I'm gonna get pushed right directly to my gate. Which is not a bad thing for Vietnam, for Ho Chi Minh City. That Ho Chi Minh City airport, to get through customs, it's pretty bad. Well, actually, I mean, I know some of the security there, so it's actually not too bad. But if you don't know the security of the custom agents, sometimes you can be in that line for hours. I can't believe I was talking to myself for 20 goddamn minutes. It felt like 30 minutes. How much time do we have left on this candle? Yeah, it's pretty bad. I have yeah, I know some of the customs agents over there, but it's only if I see them. But you know what? They I don't know if they started doing it yet. 2 minutes left. I'm gonna make another round around the room. got some volume, tiny volume. Minute 47 left. Still supporting. Oh, did you just send this, Daniel? At 9:37? I didn't even notice you sent this text. Wait, you guys can still hear me, right? Am I tripping out? Okay, thank you. I'm just late to this text, okay. We're still getting a little bit of support here on the gold zone. It must be the ass that got me like HDMI to USB-C out. Got some volume. I don't know if that's ready yet though. I mean, it's looking like we're breaking down. What time is it? 7:44. When we're in these wedges, it just feels like forever. But it's only 7:45. When that candle closed, it looked like there was a little spurt of energy. We're breaking out. Come on. What are we doing? October 18th. Looking like we want to move here. we've made a little bit of movement outside of the wedge. We're underneath perp. Slow moving. Red Liddy candles. 200 MA is what we're on right now. Think about all the fuckery that is going on. You know, if this is now finally coming down, imagine if you were the seller at 630. If you're the seller at 630 and you're getting fucked around this whole time with price going up and down. I mean, but if you think about it, even if you use the juice strat, you would have stayed alive the whole time. Even when it got really close at 650, your stop loss would have been right here above 630 and you would still be alive in this. But I would say for the majority of us, we'd be squeezing our ass cheeks the entire time. Because we're above P gold zone, right? This is one of those days where it's tough. I mean, it's a Friday, it is what it is. But it's tough because all of this ranging is right on P gold zone. So days like this, there can be a lot of false entries, right? Like the false entry of believing it's coming down at 630. The false entry of 645. You know, false entry here at 715. False entry here at 730. You know, who knows, this 740 is weak through perp and the gold zone. It's really the only time that we're breaking out of this wedge that I had drawn here though, so we'll see how this goes. But it's tough. Like this is the hardest time to take entries. Probably close to even just as hard as taking entries when we're around the 500. Oh shit, we got some volume pumping. Is Trump talking? That's the only thing I can think of. Come on, man. I'm over here waiting to take an entry. Come on. Don't tease us like that. I was thinking that was going to come down. But now with that little push of volume, but we'll see how it respects perp. But if nothing pops off at 8:15, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm not gonna force a Friday. For all we know, price is just gonna go sideways this whole time. So. A little fake out right there. Still respecting perp though. It's tough, man. I'm looking at my screen right now and I'm like, there's so much fuckery on my screen. All the indicators are all smashed together. We got trend lines everywhere. Now we're looking like we're getting a rejection. You gonna break finally? I'm gonna go make me some oatmeal after this candle. I'm craving peanut butter and oatmeal. What do we got? 3 minutes left? Supporting the bottom now. But we're under perp, so remember, what are we likely to do when we're under perp? But let's see if this is where we're finally coming down or if it's just gonna be dancing around.
To find the right headset strap and the right carry case to make that less of a burden, less of that friction of this thing you're bringing on for a train ride or a flight. These past couple months, I've actually been preferring the X-Real 1s over bringing the Vision Pro for the flight, just because this is so much easier to put on and plug into movies I've loaded onto the Beam Pro, use this as a gyroscopic cursor, and play my movies that way. I'm not doing computing, I'm not in email, I'm not using the Android apps really that I've loaded onto the Beam Pro. It's really just a media playing device. These two tethered together and you power plug into the airplane seat. It's really, really nice and really convenient, so I can just throw into my jacket pocket and deploy on a plane. So with that X1 chip, with the improvements they made even to the software over these coming months, the ability to watch 3D side-by-side video, with the subscription inserts I use with this, I really love using the X-Real 1s. What's new are the X-Real 1 Pros. Now, looking on the side profile of these, they might look similar, but there's so many fundamental architectural differences in not just the optics engine, but some of the
big wick to the bottom here.
Of the X-Real 1 Pros. Immediately you can tell the distance between this.
I can't tell where this wedge is forming and where this wedge is ending.
Relatively thicker birdback optics. This 45-degree angle combiner here gives way to something that is parallel with your iPlane, and these are what they call their prism optics. Now, if you look at some of the white papers that have been released from display providers at places like Augmented World Expo or GDC,
I've adjusted my wedge.
Architecture explained, and the best way I can explain it is that it actually uses two smaller Sony OLED panels, still the same 1920 by 1080 resolution, but as opposed to mounting them perpendicular to your eyes, they're at an angled offset. And the whole optic stack now bounces one more time. It's not just the light coming down and then going straight into your eyes, as it was here. Here, it's actually the light bouncing here, this way, and then combining into your eyes. It's what they call this prism system. And what that allows for, not only is this more compact,
big volume,
it's only slightly heavier, a couple grams heavier, but a wider field of view. It's 57 degrees. Now, the difference between 50 degrees and 57 degrees might not sound like a lot on paper, but if you go side by side, plug these both into the same computer and go back and forth, it's immediately noticeable. That extra horizontal field of view. Plug into your Steam Deck, you're getting more of that image of that game filling up your vision. It doesn't fill up your entire vision. You can still see light coming in from the side. But another benefit of this prism design is that you also get fewer of the reflective artifacts. Because of the extra bounce that has to go before it reaches your eyes, you're not getting light coming in from below you. One of the artifacts you would get from these glasses is if you're on a table or if you're wearing bright clothes, you can sometimes light bounce in here, it would bounce
Got some
up.
volume pushing back up.
Echo.
Come on, come on! Is this it? Is this it? Alright, I'm gonna go make me some oatmeal real quick. I'll be right back. Got 4 minutes. Come on, foot. What are we doing? Oh man, we're rejecting. Ain't that is some shit. Not wanting to go up. And that's why we wait till the end of the candle. What time is it? 10:04 for me, 8:04. Alright guys, I've got about 10 more minutes, maybe 15 more minutes left on this day. I'm not going to force a Friday.
So wider field of view, more compact form factor. It's a different form factor, so you can't use the same prescription lenses between the 1s and the 1 Pros. When I saw this in January, I was thinking, wow, it seems like there's no downside. Almost too good to be true. Price difference, of course, this is $500. This is $650, although a $600 price point in this launch period. And I asked Chi, the founder and CEO of Xreal, like, if this is the best technology, why not just release the 1 Pros? What could be the trade-offs? And after using this for a couple weeks, there are some trade-offs. First of all, because of the way the image has to bounce, and because it's more than one bounce, and it's this prism system, there's actually a little bit of a pincushion effect of the image when it reaches your face. The software in the system corrects for that, so you're technically seeing still a perfect rectangle. But if you move your head left and right while the image is anchored, or up and down to the point where you can clip the edge of the frame, you can see the edges of the frame are actually bowed in. There's a pincushion look to them. And what that tells me is that that's maybe an unavoidable artifact of using this compressed prism optic design. Now, if they're compensating that for that concussion device, minimizing the frame just a little bit, it also tells me you're not getting the full 1920 by 1080 pixels of those OLED displays. Because if you were, you would see those rounded edges. And so you're getting less pixel density. And of course, it's a wider field of view. So it's 57-degree field of view as opposed to 50, so the pixels are already appear to be bigger. Now, if you're playing a game, you're watching a fast-moving image, a 120 hertz image, full colors, watching a movie, you're maybe not going to notice that lower pixel density. But if you're using this as a productivity display and you want to have
Still
as much
respecting
resolved
perp.
text as possible or image in a mirroring for your laptop or your system, your computer system, it actually ends up being a little bit noticeable. So it is a trade-off between that wider field of view and the type
I don't know, guys. I might be done.
baked in this geometric artifact that you're getting because of the optic stack. I also think that because they have to bounce the light through.
I'm gonna give it to the end of my video that I'm watching,
It actually is a brighter Sony panel.
and then I'm gonna be done for the day.
Specs pages, they say this is up to 600 nits, but the X-Real 1 Pros is a perceived 700 nits. That does look brighter.
I'm only taking that 1 entry, going up there
and one of the ways I've been noticing
for like
that is
$40 at 645.
with maximum brightness over time than the X-Real 1, especially up here. I think the X1 chip, which is I believe embedded here, is doing a little bit more work, and the panels themselves are brighter, pumping out more nits at the source. And so when I'm watching a movie, I'm actually still really hot up here. Not to a point where it's uncomfortable, but every time I'm maybe adjusting it or putting my hands on top, it feels almost discomforting to my hands to touch this. And something I did have an issue with the ones. So again, you're looking at the X-Real 1s and 1 Pros. Those are the trade-offs you'll have to consider. And in thinking about it and going back and forth, spending some time with the 1s and the 1 Pros, I'm actually perfectly happy with the 1s. And that $100, $150 difference in MSRP between these.
Good night, Daniel. Enjoy your weekend.
That's money where I think might be better spent with the new accessory that they also show me that now has more time with the X-Real Eye. So you don't just buy the glasses, you can also buy prescription inserts. They're modular in a certain way. I know they announced a bunch of different accessories that you can swap on with it, but the core functional accessory is a port on the bottom between the eyes themselves, and you can plug in this X-Real Eye in either the 1s or the 1 Pros. Its primary use case, as they're advertising right now, is a 12 megapixel single camera, so you can take a photo. So for an ultra-wide photo, once you plug these in, you update the firmware, the top right button becomes a shutter button. So you press that down, and then you see an image of a frame in front of you, like a grid line. Snap a photo. That looks okay. It's actually not very good photo. You capture video. So this is video up to 60 seconds long. You can do up to 60 frames per second, and it works fine. I get it. Not really video that, definitely not better than the video I can capture with my Ray-Bans. So the real potential of the X-Real Eye, though, is additional. One, it could be an input option for multimodal input for AI in the future. So if there's software in the future that lets you plug these glasses into your phone and tap into something like ChatGPT, this becomes an input vector for it to scan an object in the world and give you some analysis about it. Not super interesting to me at the moment. The more interesting thing is this as a tracking device, which has just become unlocked. So with that X1 chip, you get built-in 3-degree freedom, anchor the image, have it do a delayed follow. But with the X-Real Eye, you now also have 6 degrees of freedom tracking. You have to turn it on into the menu, it's optional. But when that's on and you move your head left and right, you get just a couple seconds of additional baseline tracking. That image is now locked in space. And for me, that's really meaningful for comfort, for the ability to bring that image not 4 meters away, but bring it closer and actually lean into the virtual display. It's how I actually like using the extended, the mirror display on my actual Apple Vision Pro or a real monitor. Sometimes I'm leaning into it and looking at a thing without wanting to drag that virtual monitor closer. That's all possible now with the X-Real Eye. No hand tracking functionality yet. Its hand tracking was something that they had in their Air 2 Ultras, but I believe that was done using stereo cameras. But if they can do 6-degree of tracking with a single camera, monocular camera, I'm pretty sure with some machine learning, with some refinements in their models, that they can do some hand input, gesture input, which would be much more convenient than pressing all these buttons to tap into the various deep dives of the menu systems that are on these glasses today. So my recommendation would actually be take a look at the X-Real 1s. I think these image quality here, that 50 degree field of view, is going to be more than serviceable for your gaming, for your productivity. It doesn't have some of the trade-offs that you get to get the additional 7 degrees of field of view on the Pros. And for the price, spend that extra $100. I would spend it on the X-Real Eye instead. Plug that in here and just have a more functional pair of glasses. Still not prepared to call them AR glasses, but let's call them display glasses with some spatial functionality. It's a mouthful. All right, those are the X-Real 1s and the X-Real Pros. If you have more questions, if you're curious about these glasses, let me know in the comments below. There are so many other options. It's becoming a little bit of a crowded market, so hopefully I'll be able to survey the landscape and let you know what's going on with this technology in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. I would be remiss.
Still respecting perp. Got some volume to the downside again. But it's a dumbass doji.
We have some excellent merch. We have a 5-pack of demerit badges for
sale right now at tested/store.com. We've got the I hung it off of level demerit badge, the I built the chair backwards demerit badge, the I hit my thumb with a hammer demerit badge. We've got the stapler in my finger demerit badge, and my favorite, I stuffed the duct tape to itself demerit badge. Get yours now, tested/store.store-store, tested-store, tested. It's right here, basically.
I mean, this entire time though,
Hey everybody, it's Norm from Tested.
price has been underneath perp. But volume is just booting.
A first look and my hands-on impressions with X-Real's new line of their display glasses, or what they call these AR glasses. Not really AR just yet. This is the X-Real 1, and along with the X-Real 1 Pro launching early next year, the latest in a whole line of hardware that we covered only 4 months ago in a video where I showed you the X-Real Airs and the Air Ultras and the Beam and the Beam Pro. In that video, I lamented how difficult it is for consumers out there to make choices and to know when to jump into this type of technology. It seems like there seems to be a new pair of these glasses coming out every 6 months or so. But the X-Real 1 and the 1 Pro does have interesting new technology I think it's worth discussing and worth considering if you're thinking about making a purchase. So let's dive into the technology. As we've discussed in the past, these are display glasses where they don't have a real computer, at least in previous generations, on the inside. You know, a thing like Steam Deck, your phone, your laptop with DisplayPort out, you plug them into the glasses over a cable, and they kind of act as floating monitors. They have 2 tiny micro OLED displays that, using curved back optics, make it feel like you have a giant.
All right, y'all. I'm making an let's see how this candle closes.
1080p screen floating in front of you, as large as 240 something inches. You can place it in space. Now, in the past, one of my frustrations with this glass technology was that my image was locked in place. So the first generation Airs, when my head moved, it was head locked, and that's not how I interact with content. I like moving my eyes, and also moving my head.
That is a doji. That was a doji. Let's see if we get some 815 volume.
To get real 3-degree freedom tracking, you had to use the Beam or the Beam Pro, these puck accessories that would offload that compute, that reprojecting of the image to make an image locked in place. The Beam was okay, it overheated a bit, you know, you didn't really do too much with it. The Beam Pro actually did a lot.
Look to the bottom.
The Beam Pros,
that's ass.
SD card using their Nebula OS and native video players to play movies without having to bring a giant Apple Vision Pro carry case on an international flight, just as well for that purpose of having a large screen cinema. But it's still an extra accessory. Well, with the 1s and the 1 Pros, they've put that processing finally into the glasses themselves. They've internally developed a chip called the X1 chip. It's a 12 nanometer process chip using TSMC semiconductors, and it's embedded onto the top of glasses. This coprocessor, they're calling it, does all the processing of the motion data, of the gyroscopic data, that 3-degree of tracking. It's not 6-dot, you can't move forward or backward, there are no cameras here to look at the outside world, but it works as advertised at a much lower latency, much more responsive than the past hardware solutions, or even software solutions if you're using, you know, Decky on the Steam Deck. They're claiming down to a 3 millisecond response rate if you're running this at 120 hertz. Now, most of the time it's 90 hertz, so a little bit higher than that. That's still many times faster than the 20 to 30 second milliseconds when you're having to pass that gyroscopic data onto a compute puck and then reprocessing the image and getting that back. Having the chip on the glasses not only is a much better use of form factor, but the performance is actually much better. I've had this pre-release set of glasses for the past week using it over my Thanksgiving break, and it is so much easier to use this with something like Steam Deck than having to pass through the Beam or casting to a device like the Beam Pro. Now, the X-Real 1 Pros also use that X1 chip, but also has significant optical changes as well. While the 1s have a 50-degree field of view, so that's about 4 degrees wider than 46 degrees of the Airs, a little less than the 52 degrees of the Ultras, the 1 Pros have a 57-degree field of view offered by a new flat prism optic system, also internally developed in their own factory. This is something they're telling me they've actually internally designed, engineered, and tested, rather than working with a third-party vendor for these bird path optics. And before we dive into the functionality and my impressions, I want to share with you a conversation I had with X-Real CEO.
Alright, yeah, we've got about 20 seconds left on this day. We've done nothing but range here on the gold zone. It is what it is. Don't force anything. Remember, our job is to protect our money. So if there's nothing good to take, we're not gonna fight it, and we're gonna call it a week. So, alrighty, guys, I'm out, skis. Boring day. it is what it is. If you guys need me, message me. You guys know how to get a hold of me. If not, I will see you guys Monday, baby. Alright, everybody. Enjoy your guys' weekend. I'll see you guys later. Peace.